What? Graham, do you have something to say?
He said, start it up off.
Start it up.
Start it up.
Okay.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Taste Like Music. Jason, Joe, and Crams are here. Songs of the Year 2015. As we said, this decade has been kind of up and down in terms of the Billboard charts and quality. Cram and I both liked it a lot in 2013, felt that 14 was a little step back. And then just a short 2 years after 2013, which is a pretty solid year, probably the best of the decade on the pop charts. This year is just absolutely atrocious. I think this is the year where I got too old to follow the pop charts, because not only do I hate all of this stuff on the charts, I don't even understand it. I don't get what's going on. All this trap just totally takes over everything. So many horrible songs. I hate the style of production. There's like no melody anymore. It's a really, really bad year. The plus side is still tons of stuff I love on the wildcard side. So I had tons and tons of songs to pick through there.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about with the billboards, like not having melody. It's just this cool trap, low key sexual, like hookup culture kind of stuff. And it's not great. But I think actually 2015 is probably my least favorite year in general for this entire decade. I'm not as deep on the deep cuts with you for albums or tracks. So this was a tough year, toughest year probably since the late 90s for me.
Well, I love this year. It makes 2014 look like 2013, as far as I'm concerned. I think it's brilliant. I have more 5 stars in this year than the rest of the decade combined. So big fan of 2015. It might just come down to the fact that I was listening to so much music in 2015. Like this was the year I really got into it. And I just found so much stuff I loved and then never again. So I don't know what that says about 2015, but I love it.
Nice shirt. Wow. Penguins. Jason, let's see your shirt. Congrats. All right.
All right. If you're new here, we make 2 lists each. One is a list of charting songs, our favorite charting songs of 2015. We use the Billboard Hot 100 for that. As long as it charted for 1 week, it counts. The second list is wildcards. Anything else didn't have to chart. Could have also charted if we like more than 5 charting songs that much. I highly doubt it here in 2015. Maybe Joe, who knows? So we save one song for the end. One of our lists will be one song short. Our favorite song of the year we reveal at the close of the video. And before we reveal that, we also make a selection for our least favorite top 40 song. So that's what we're doing here. And it is Joe's turn to start it off.
As usual, I had plenty to choose from. Everyone's abandoning the Hot 100, but not a problem. I had to cut things that I liked. So my number 5, I got I Really Like You, Carly Rae Jepsen. It's probably the worst song from the album. Still great. Good hook. They're trying to do the Call Me Maybe thing again. It doesn't, it's not quite on that same level as Earworm, but it's a solid track. Carly Rae rules. Number 4, it made the top 100 by the skin of its teeth, literally number 100. And I'm glad it did. Love Me by the 1975. Squeaked onto the top 100, catchy, disco-y funk inspired track. Just a lot of fun. Very good album from them, probably my favorite from the 1975. Number 3, I'll go with a little The Weeknd. He had a bunch of hits from this year. My favorite's probably In the Night. Just a really catchy dance number. The strobing synths and the Weeknd sound. He sounds like Michael Jackson meets Usher or something. He's not that original, but in a year like 2015, totally a good song. And number 2, we go a little country. I had 2 to choose from Mr. Stapleton. Yes, Chris Stapleton. I'm going to go with The Traveler over Tennessee Whiskey. This one, it just has really nice instrumentation, really nice lap steel, some banjo, absolutely nothing hokey, like no hint, no taste of bro country at all, which makes it great. You know, it's steeped in like actual country tradition, which is great. He has a great voice, just a lot of character and personality from Mr. Chris Stapleton. Number one, though, I'm going to go with Coffee from Miguel. I love Miguel. And again, you know, this is not the best track at all on the album, but it's a solid, you know, kind of not dopey, but it's kind of, you know, cutesy little R&B ballad from Miguel. Great instrumentation. And I just, you know, anything Miguel does, I eat up. So, or drink up, I should say. But Coffee, number one for the Billboards in 2015.
All right. I share two with Joe. Probably the two you would think. I got Coffee from Miguel. I can't remember if I nominated this album or not this year, but I like Miguel a good bit. Yeah, I think calling it cutesy, fun, playful. His stuff isn't always ultra serious, but this one is like kind of like almost making like a play on pop R&B kind of stuff and making it really obvious that it's trying to be catchy. I also have Love Me, 1975. I love everything about the 1975. And yeah, this one has everything you want. It's got that kind of like disco, but like 80s disco, like early 80s disco rather than like 77, 78 kind of disco. And it's got just his kind of sly lyrics and like his really kind of a feminine sexual posture in it and everything. It's just really awesome. Like you always just picture him like cool smoke. He's just cooler than like the songs that he's singing. It's just awesome. I've also got Love Me Like You Do by Ellie Goulding, who I think is a pretty underrated pop star for this era. It's sweet. It's got a good hook. It's got sort of like Charlie XCX vibes. I think the repetition with the Love Me Like You Do works. It's a very simple jam, but the sparseness and the quietness is perfect for it to like stand out with its slow build. Then for the weekend, I've got, I love a good song about oral sex. I've got I Can't Feel My Face When I'm With You. I think it's just really got a cool, like big punchy bass line to it. And, you know, when he does a she don't need to worry. And I think he's a really good singer. I think his voice is better than he is a singer, but I think he just writes simplicity to his strengths. And that's going to be one of them. And then finally, I thought Joe would have this one for sure. I've got Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson. Just really big callback to like the big band R&B type stuff, you know, James Brown and stuff like that. And it's just got tremendous hook, great horn section to it, and really catchy as hell. And it's fun and positive, and unlike most of the other stuff in this pop arena during this time. So 2 in common with Joe, 3 more, and let's see what Jason's got.
All right. I've got a Chris Stapleton song, but I'm going with the other one. I got Tennessee Whiskey. I think you would guess that I'm probably a bigger Chris Stapleton fan than I am. I actually think his albums are extremely boring and really like dull production. I think he's extremely talented. He's a really good guitar player. He has a great voice, and it just doesn't come across that exciting on his records. But that said, I think this is a really good song compared to everything else on the charts this year. More than worthy to make a top 5. You know, he's looked at as like a country singer, but this is like a soul song. I mean, this is a type of song that you could have imagined like Etta James or something singing in the 60s. Then I'm going to go with Budapest by George Ezra, kind of following in the footsteps of like these unlikely hit makers like Milky Chance and Bastille and all these other indie pop bands that were having hits a year or two previously. But for this song to be a hit in 2015, it feels so against the grain. It is unlike anything else that was happening this year. Super simple song, 3 chords, but I think the chorus is really, really strong and memorable. Like Cram, I also have Can't Feel My Face. The song was everywhere in 2015, probably the song of the summer. And the restaurant that I worked at, they were still bumping it at the Christmas party. It was just all year long, played to death, and I never got sick of it. It just always held up. I think it's really good. Like you guys said, he's basically doing his MJ thing, but he's updating it a bit. I think it's pretty cool. I also have Love Me by the 1975. It's kind of like In Excess crossed with David Bowie's Fame, because they're doing like those pitched vocals that Bowie does in Fame, and that guitar is just straight In Excess, that slinky, funky 80s pop. The production on it's off the charts. Sounds really good. That guitar part cuts right through. You got stuff panning all over the place. Almost Mutt Lange-esque in its elaborateness as far as the production goes. And then the last one, this is going to be a surprise. This is going to be a surprise on the level of my Drake pick a couple years ago. I've got Want to Want Me by Jason Derulo. I had to learn this song for an audition when I lived in Philly. I was auditioning to be in like a party band, like agency that would like send you out to weddings and whatnot. And the audition was canceled. I never got the chance to even go do it, but I found this song along the way. They gave me all these top 40 songs to learn. And it was a lot of crap that I didn't really like playing. But this one, I was like, wait a minute, this song kind of slaps. I think it's got a great chorus. I love those big like synth piano stabs, the throbbing bass. I think it's really well produced and a pretty catchy song. So there you go. Those are my Hot 100 picks.
All right. Christ, this was tough picking my favorites. There's so many albums I like from this year. So this will be, I don't know, incomplete, I feel like, because I could change these up at any time. My number 5, I'm going to go with a band that I really liked when they came out, and every album since has been hugely disappointing. I got Highly Suspect with Mr. Asylum. This one just rocks. It is just dirty, filthy rock and roll. And I thought these guys were going to like reinvent or, reignite rock and roll, because this was such a good album from them, and everything else from them has kind of sucked. But I love this one, just really grungy, dirty, powerful, emotive rock and roll. Number 4, I got to pick between metal bands here. And I'm going to go with Ghost. I put Baroness on my top 5 for album of the year. So I'll go Ghost for this one. And my favorite from them, it's tough. I guess I'll go Majesty. Just a really great riff. We got some organ in there. It's great. It's kind of like Deep Purple meets Black Sabbath meets, I don't know, Ozzy Osbourne or something. It's all the good metal put together into one devil worshipping ball there. Great track from Ghost, from Meliora, which is probably their best album. Number 3, I'll do another one from a band that missed my top 5 albums of the year. But I'll go Compound Fracture from My Morning Jacket, from The Waterfall, which I just love. I think it's such a good album. And there's a bunch I could have picked from the album, but Compound Fracture kind of always stuck out to me. It's just so beautiful. I love the instrumentation. I love the production on this. It has like a lot of that like reverby kind of like Lost in the mist, but I don't know, a little more like forward than Z, which I always thought was like underwater a little bit with the production. This one's kind of combines Z with Evil Urges a little bit more, and the guitar is just fantastic. Number 2 is a single. The band never released a whole album. I love that. I've read about this song in like Vulture or like New York Magazine. It was like in their hot songs of the summer. And I was like, okay, I'll check it out, because I was really into discovering new music at the time. Blew me away. Been waiting for them to do anything. They have like 4 singles. It's been 7 friggin' years. Towers with Teenage Miracle. Just such a fun, it's not quite emo, but it's sort of like dabbling in like the emo punk world. But great synths, like just really good dance, summer tune. And like they never did anything else. Like I'm pissed off about this for 7 years now. Along with like Neon Indian, like where's he been? He was my winner for this year. Hasn't released an album in 7 years. I fell in love with all these bands in 2015, and they've all disappointed me. Terrible. But my winner will wait.
All right. I have not been quiet about my underwhelmment from most of what My Morning Jacket has put out over the last 10 years or so. However, I do have a track by them this year and might have another one in a few years. I've got Like a River from The Waterfall. Amazing production. It's got that mystical mountain kind of feel of like curiosity and wonder. It's got that really kind of elusive and kind of like mysterious, like circular guitar pattern, really folksy sounding. And then really just like kind of subtly, the drums come in and give it this great tribal and kind of dangerous feel. Vocals are wonderful and winding, great engine turning with that acoustic guitar part. Also got Grimes with Flesh Without Blood. I think this is a really great pop tune. Jason's complaining about all the pop stuff, that like how bad the charts are, and like there's stuff like this that's not charting. It's really stupid. Like it could be. It's really fresh and lively and artsy and kind of obscure but still familiar, and it's like composition that you can get really behind it, really into it, dance to it. Cool and trippy with her like cosmic vocals and her angelic like shrieks. There's this great bass line kind of running through it. Then I've got a couple from my album of the year. I've got I Still Want You from Brandon Flowers. This is a really cool song where it's like this big list of like all these catastrophic things happening in the world, like hurricanes and floods and climate change and debt. But through it all, through thick and thin, he still wants you. And it's got just this really cool, simple synth pattern. I like the production, how this album is kind of full of great production where it's just littered with all of these little touches that just create this big collage. But this song is pretty wide open, and it's just got this simple kind of like almost like Caribbean tropical, like unexpectedly tropical kind of drum part behind it. And then I also have Lonely Town, which is this kind of great synth pop rocker. It's got this great synth pop part to it, and it's got this just really nice like sentiment about being like this lonely kid, and big chorus, and it's got like big backing vocals from female like kind of soul singers coming in, and it's just catchy as hell, and I think it's wonderful and heartfelt as well. It's catchy.
All right, very nice. My wild card picks. First one is going to be Empty Nesters by Toro y Moi. Toro y Moi was kind of like one of the forerunners of chillwave music. And then he started using more and more live instruments as he put out more records. And by the time you get to 2015, he's making like this really great indie pop album. This track's just like jangly, psychedelic, lo-fi, funky. It's a really interesting mix of things. I think it's super cool, really unique, and really, really catchy and fun. Then I'm going to go with New Skin by Torres. I think like all of Torres's music, this is just like very heavy, very emotional, very powerful, kind of heavy stuff. So you got to be in that mood. But man, it is really good. It's really powerful. Her vocals are so strong. The production's great. I love her guitar tone. Just, yeah, a great song. And if you're interested in it, there's a really cool documentary series on YouTube where you can watch her like writing and recording it. I think it's called Shaking Through if you're interested in that sort of thing. Then I'm going to go with the opposite of that, much less heavy track called Pieces by Tan Lines, which is a synth pop duo. One guy plays synth, the other guy plays guitar. This one's just a really catchy pop song. I love the synth sounds that they use, and the guitar tone is so complementary. It sounds great. It's mixed so well. The beat is irresistible. Just a great little pop song. And then the last one I'm going to go with is Detroit by Gaz Coombs of Supergrass fame, from one of his solo records called Matador. His solo records are okay. I love everything Supergrass ever did. I'm not as high on his solo stuff. I like them. They're good records. He does a lot of like Radiohead-esque stuff, kind of playing with like glitchy synth noises, and I don't know, the songs aren't as forward as they are in Supergrass, but I think on this one song, he kind of takes all of that he was like playing around with, and it just comes out real organically. It's something new. The melody's really strong, really good song. I think it's the peak of his solo efforts. So gonna go with that one. Time for the worst of the year.
The worst of the year for me, and it's more about just taking a name in vain, and he shouldn't have. I got Marvin Gaye by Charlie Puth and Meghan Trainor, both of which are bad. But just using like that, I hate when artists use like a popular name from the past to like infuse their song with like coolness and hipness. Like Charlie Puth shouldn't even be saying the words Marvin Gaye ever, much less having a whole song about him. And it's just a bad song. If you're gonna make a song Marvin Gaye, better be damn good, or you're just, taking his name in vain. And that's what he does on this song. It sucks.
All right, mine is a song that I've hated since the second I heard it. I really think the song is lousy, but the chorus and the hook is just one of those earworms that you can't get out. I don't know if it's Omi or Ami or OMI, but with Cheerleader, oh my God, I think I found myself a cheerleader. And it's like doing like this purposely like goofy, nerdy kind of vocal delivery. And I think it's supposed to come off as like adorable and innocent, but it just comes off as friggin' obnoxious and annoying. And it's too sugary. Like you really need some bourbon to take this down with. It's just way too flowery for flowery sap's sake, and I can't take it. It's like, do you want me to cheat? I can't. I found myself a cheerleader, like the perfect woman. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah, fuck, whatever.
All right, for me, I'm going with "See You Again" by Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth. This is like the I don't know, the song for Paul Walker from the Fast and Furious movies. It is so bad. It's so lame. And Charlie Puth sucks. He is such a terrible singer. He comes up on YouTube all the time because he has perfect pitch. So like all the music channels like always talk about him. I mean, that's great. It's a cool party trick that you can name a pitch when you hear it without reference, but he can't sing. His voice is so lame. He's got no soul or feeling whatsoever. I don't know what's going on with the production, but it sounds terrible. I don't know if there's like crazy amounts of pitch correction on it. It sounds really plastic, really phony. Wiz Khalifa's part is okay. It's fine. It's kind of generic. It's just a really lame, sappy song. And it's a shame that that's all Paul Walker got.
Insulting the Pittsburgh-born Pittsburgh rapper, the only one we got left. Jason, come on. Wiz. Yeah, a lot of bad songs in 2015. Now for a good one, the best one. There's no way. Everyone agrees this is the best song. Like, this made every critic's list of the best songs of the year. It made Pitchfork's top 200 of 2010. It made Rob Sheffield's. Everyone loves this song. The fact it didn't chart is one of the great injustices, perhaps ever. I got Runaway With Me, obviously. Carly Rae Jepsen as the song of the year. I mean, that sax. So a little sax intro is so good. It's, it spawned a meme. Like, it's just literally perfect. The song, it's a great like Swedish pop song meets, modern production, Shellback, and there's a whole bunch of producers, a bunch of Swedish people that I can't pronounce. Fredriksson, Matthias Larsson, Oscar Holter, Palminius. Doesn't matter. It's a perfect song, a perfect pop song, definitely the best pop song of the 2010s. And the song that made me fall in love with Carly Rae Jepsen the moment I heard it, it's the first track on the album. It's just magic. Just magic. I love it.
My favorite song of 2015 is from my album of the year. So that's giving Brandon Flowers 3 scores here. And I've got Between Me and You. This is a really cool kind of like Act 1, Act 2 kind of song structure, where it's got this really gentle piano ballad with all this cool production behind it, where it's kind of got that, believe it or not, Brandon Flowers trying to be Springsteen on this, where he's doing like his blue collar romantic anthem, where it's like, I'm doing my best through like all these long hours and stuff to not let it get between me and you. But it's done really beautifully with the production. This is one of my favorite produced songs of the decade. It harkens back to just kind of like what they do on So, but with just a lot of different sounds, but kind of that approach from like Daniel Lanois. And then when it gets into the chorus and you get like these violins and big synth electronic drums and everything, and these fluttering guitars coming in out of nowhere, like it's just like this dreamy, just whirlwind of things flying in at you. And they all kind of make sense for the feeling of the song. And it's got this cool touch where it's like ornate and symphonic and orchestral, but also kind of neon-esque and kind of modern. It's very cool. And it's just a really well written song. I mean, you could easily just do it on piano or acoustic guitar and it'll work because it's just got beautiful lyrics, beautiful melody, and just has a good backbone behind it. But production really sets it over the top. Not overdone, just really picturesque. It's tremendous.
Oh boy. Well, I'm gonna have to start picking songs just to beat Joe because he's gonna start pulling ahead. I was within like 1 point, and I think I lost last week, and I'm definitely not gonna win this week. I'm going with Sam Cohen with Unconditional Love, which my album of the year, one of my favorite albums of the whole decade. This song is just so cool, so different. It feels like you're like floating in space. There's like a weightlessness to it. The production is just outrageously good. There's these violins that are doing like this fast tremolo effect, which is super cool. There's a little bit of like hand percussion. I'm not sure what it is, maybe a bongo or something, but it's got like this really long reverb on it. And then there's these backing vocals that swell in. And then he hits you with the synth pedal on the guitar, and it's like bow shaking. It's so heavy. It's just like the clouds part, and it just hits you like lightning. It's such a huge sound. I saw him live play a bunch of songs from this record, and every time he hit that pedal, it just like shook the room. You could like feel your chest vibrating. It was so massive, so cool. The song itself, pretty short, under 3 minutes, but it leaves a big impact. Lyrically, he's just like questioning a relationship. Will it always feel this way? Is this what they call unconditional love? It's super cool, super heartfelt, but also very simple. And just the mood and emotion that he creates with the music is absolutely perfect. Fits the lyrics beautifully. That's my song of the year.
When's the last time we all picked a song from our album of the year winner?
Well, I didn't, so been a while.
Well, so it's now just an empty question.
That's for our historians to find out.
Fair enough.
Yes, Neon Indian was my album of the year.
So if you are new or haven't been following along, we do have a little competition going where you can vote every week for which of our picks is your favorite. And I believe Joe won last week. Pretty
Yes,
close.
squeaked through three votes over Seasons Waiting for You. That was Jason's pick. And Sad Girl by Lana Del Rey was right there too, only 5 behind Jason. So we were all within 8 votes. So that's probably the closest it's been in a long time. That puts me at 24, Jason 22.5, and Cramser at 17.5, which I believe he's now officially eliminated. So it's just me and Jason. We'll see what happens here. I don't know. I think I have this. I think I do. I got some indie darlings coming up for the rest of the decade. So I think I'm going to hold on.
Yeah, you got this week at least. I don't know if you've got the whole thing in the bag yet, but you'll be 3.5 ahead if you take this one. So I'm gonna have to do some serious catching up here. Anyways, let us know what you think of our lists. Let us know what your favorite songs of the year are, and make sure you go to the website. The link is in the video description. Aside from that, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not yet done so, hit the bell for notifications. And then in addition to the website, also in the video description, you'll find Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, and our merch. So check out all the links. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.